He weighed in at a ripe weighing pounds of 137 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, with a professional record of 33 victories.
I was a very talented boxer. I lived off my talent.
And as a southpaw, Ricky put together a highly respectable 39 wins, 8 losses, and 3 draws record.
The new NABO Junior Welterweight Champion, Ricky Showtime Quiles.
But make no mistakes, people. I made a lot of mistakes along my journey in life with addiction. But I'm from South Florida, baby. I get back up and I keep going in life. I started boxing when I was 6 years old. And how that happened was, my Uncle Freddie, he was my superhero, man. He was the guy that, my father wasn't in my life to teach me nothing. I'm always drinking, doing drugs and partying. And my Uncle Freddie would always put on boxing, and it was a Puerto Rican household. So when they would be partying, we had this basement, and it was like a man cave for my father and his friends. Pool table on it, punching bags, headgear, and I would go downstairs and navigate down the stairs while they're all doing drugs and drinking down there. And I would just navigate to the punching bags. I would start hitting the punching bags. My Uncle Freddie would come and show me some boxing moves and stuff. I loved it. It wasn't because I was angry, because I wanted to hit things. It was more because it was something I was really good at, and it made me forget about my problems, my hurt, my pain. My cousins would come over to put the headgear on me, the boxing gloves on me, and I would box my cousins. My friends come over, I'll box my friends, and I was fucking good at it. Slick, I was that type of guy that would make you miss, and then make you pay for it. Pop, slick shit, I call it. At the age of 8, my mom ended up leaving my father. There was a boxing place right down the street. Freddie Barrios owned it. So I would walk to the boxing gym. I was like the mascot in the gym. I would fight all these little tournaments and win. All the little tournaments, Sacred Heart, win all the tournaments there. My father left, my mom went out dancing and partying and to sow her wild oats or whatever it was she was doing with her life. Once in a while a babysitter would come, but there was times I was left in the house with my siblings by myself. I would lock all the windows, the doors, make sure I felt safe. As a kid, I'm 8 years old. A neighbor came and took advantage of me when I was a little kid. I still have that thing about locking all my doors at night. It traumatized me for a long time, and I kept that an emotional secret because I felt ashamed because I made a living with these, and I'm a man.
Who showed you love during this whole time?
My Uncle Freddie. My Uncle Freddie did. My Uncle Freddie was the guy that I loved a lot, and he taught me how to pray. He taught me how to be kind and loving. But he was in the service at the time, and every time he'd take off, he'd be gone for months, but when he came back, I was so excited to see him. He taught me how to work out. We would jog around Oakland Park. I would jog with him. He'd teach me how to breathe. And, so I just kept boxing, man. I just kept boxing and winning all these tournaments. And, when I was a young kid, when I was 8, I used to go look for him. I would leave my house in the rain, in the snow, and I would just leave without saying nothing to my mother, to nobody. And I would go look for my father, and I would walk across through Oakland Park to 28th Street, to the bars in 28th Street. Bar to bar, I would knock. As an 8-year-old kid, is my father here? No, he was here, he's down there. He went to this other bar. And I would walk all the way down until I found him. I didn't find my father. Sometimes I did, and when I did, he would come outside, and I would look at my father's hands to try to find an identification that I had a father in my life. To look at his hands, see if my hands were like his. And, I just wanted a father in my life, and I felt ashamed that he wasn't there. he would say, "How you doing, son?" I would try to have a conversation. I wasn't a father in my life. All my friends at school, had their moms go to the school, their fathers go to the school. I had nobody. I discovered cocaine at the age of 15. And cocaine and alcohol go together hand to hand like boyfriend and girlfriend. And as the time went on, it became my medicine. Magical medicine, meaning every time I was hurt, I needed a drink. Every time I was sad, I needed a drink. Even when I was happy, yo, let's get a drink. It became my medicine. And before I got sober, it became misery. It was misery. So boxing was a saving grace for me because at the age of 15, I wanted to enter this tournament called the Cleveland Golden Gloves in Cleveland. And it's a big tournament, it's a huge tournament. If you win in your weight class, they call the Nationals, where all the states meet. They might be in New York City, Chicago. If you win the local city tournament, in my case it was in Cleveland, then you fight in the Nationals to get a chance to fight for the Olympics. So I was 15, you gotta be 16 years old to fight, but this is 1986. So this is before the computers and all that, and I lied, and I told them I was 16 years old. And there's 3 tiers. The first tier is green, meaning you have no fights. You fight people in that category with no fights. The second tier is novice. You got like 5 to 10 fights, 15 fights the most. Then you got the open division, means you fight anybody, any age, no matter how many fights they got, they're the best of the best. So I put myself 15 years old, open division. You fight by 5 to 8 times to win the whole tournament. If you lose 1 time, you're done. I fought 7 more times with a broken nose, 2 black eyes, and won the whole damn tournament. And on top of that, I got the most MVP boxer of the year. I'm a little kid with this big trophy. I won the whole tournament with a broken nose. I repeated the same thing the next following year, 1987, won the Golden Gloves again, twice in 2 years in a row, without the broken nose though, the second time. And then there was a fighter by the name of Ray Boom Boom Mancini, who was a world champion at the time, saw me fight, and he came up to me and said, "You're a phenomenal fighter. I'm gonna use you one day for training camp. So I'm southpaw, I'm left-handed." At the age of 18, he still remembered me and he called me. He's getting ready to fight Hector Macho Camacho for the world title. But that Camacho had. He took me from Lorraine. I flew to Las Vegas. I stayed 3 months in Vegas, trained with him. And that was the first time I ever left Lorraine. I ended up turning pro at the age of 18 with Freddie and this guy by the name of Jim Kelly, who is no longer with us, from Cleveland. Signed a contract with him and I had 4 fights. My first fight was in Baltimore. I'll never forget the guy's name, Chris Lucas. And then I had another fight at the Palace Theater. And then I had another 2 fights in Cleveland.
There was, Ricky was like that anyway. There was a big limousine, you know what I mean? To pick us up and take it to the fight and everything. And there was a big fight. And Camacho fought that night too. That was the biggest fight that I know before he left.
I knew that if I would stay home, my drug use of cocaine and my drinking, it was gonna drown me emotionally, spiritually, and physically. The funny thing is that Bernie Taupin, when I signed my contract, Bernie Taupin wanted to be a manager who manages Elton John to this day. And so I ended up moving to San Diego. They paid for my place downtown San Diego. Big place on a 15th floor overlooking the city of San Diego. And they gave me money every week, and they paid my bills every month. I started fighting a lot at the Great Western Forum where the Lakers used to play.
Well, I don't know, I love to win. And
I started fighting there and I became very popular. I had like 18 fights at the Great Western Forum, live on NBC and Fox Sports TV. All the big celebrities will always be there, and I became a household name there. And Magic Johnson was there, and Showtime, and that's how I got my nickname, Showtime.
So Magic Johnson.
Yeah,
Nickname
yeah.
Showtime.
Quiles will be wearing the black trunks. On the front of him it says Showtime, and Showtime is in the building tonight. Magic Johnson over there in the front. He's going to play basketball for the United States in the Olympics. Then he'll announce whether or not he's going to play a limited schedule with the Los Angeles Lakers next year.
And as the time went on drinking, like a good alcoholic and drug addict that I am, I dove into alcohol and drugs more in San Diego where I was living. And I was masking my pain, my hurt, and my past. But I just couldn't stop drinking. Boxing saved my life because I had intervals of training camps. I trained for 2-3 months for a fight, but I still drank periodically in my training. I've never given myself an opportunity ever to be sober 100% for any of my fights. I could have been in better shape. Alcohol and cocaine, it robbed me of my spirit and my soul, and it took away my gifts.
Oh, Ricky, vamos. Ricky.
I started fighting big fights on ESPN. I became a 4-time champion, 2-time champion in the lightweight division, 2-time champion in the junior welterweight division. And through all these fights, I would go out and drink and do drugs. I couldn't stop myself. So I wasn't in the best shape the way I should have been. I was in shape because I worked out really hard, but mentally, emotionally, and even physically, it robbed me from being the best that I could be for myself. And in 2004, I ended up fighting a guy by the name of Luis Vilata, who was from Peru. He was a Peruvian killer. He was a beast. He was like 30-something wins with 20-something knockouts, 5 losses. He was a beast. And they gave me an opportunity to fight him for the title, which is that title right there. And I trained really hard for this fight. I knew that he was a beast. And I'm not like a Mike Tyson knockout puncher. I was just a flashy little skinny southpaw kid that was slick and make you miss and make you pay. That slick shit. I beat the big Mike Tyson punchers with my slickness. So I ended up fighting this guy live at the Hard Rock Cafe Casino, live on ESPN. We're fighting and I'm out slicking him, out boxing him, which I was quite surprised. It was a lot more easier than I expected it to be. And I think that maybe the 8th or 9th round, I caught him with a good punch and I knew he was hurt, but I couldn't finish him because he was a beast. So they gave him an 8 count, but he kept coming, he's a beast. So we kept fighting. In the last round, the 12th round, the final round, I hurt him again. And I got 50 professional fights. But for some reason, I knew there was something wrong with them. Something was wrong, and they kept coming forward, and I kept boxing. After the bell rang, I knew I won the fight. I'm crying, and I never did this. I got 50 professional fights, never did this with anybody in the boxing ring. I grabbed this man's hand, and I lifted it up in the air in front of 7,000 to 8,000 people, and I paraded him around the boxing ring, and we got a standing ovation.
El 29 de febrero del 2004 perdió en la Florida su título regional. El puertorriqueño Ricky Quiles lo venció tras un reñido combate de 12 asaltos. Minutos después de la pelea, Villalta se desmayó tras quejarse de un fuerte dolor de cabeza. A partir de ese momento quedó en coma por 3 días. Su esposa y su padre lograron llegar a los Estados Unidos pocas horas antes de su muerte.
Es un riesgo que mi esposo tomó y lamentablemente ya no está aquí conmigo, pero tengo que seguir adelante y decirle a Ricky Quiles que me dicen que se siente mal. Le digo que no se sienta mal, que es un riesgo que él también tomó, ¿no? Un riesgo que también tomó y pudo haberle pasado a él.
This is going to be a scar for the remainder of my life. I'll never forget this, you know?
and it still hurts. And you know, it's this is hard for me. You know what I mean? Because I'm a good person. I haven't slept too good this past, week. It's been very difficult for me to handle this whole situation. So.
Villalta deja una hija de 13 y Luis Anthony, de apenas 3 años. Su familia prefirió cremar sus restos y dejarlos en Nueva Jersey, donde disfrutó los últimos años de su vida.
Yo siento que cumplió su misión, me hizo muy feliz en el tiempo que estuvimos juntos.
Thank you, bro.
Hey, Ricky. You excited for today?
A little bit, yeah, it's gonna be dope. Excited. Thank you, babe. Oh, he's an actor, my buddy. He's a big actor on TV and everything.
Oh, really?
Ah, look at this. Hey.
4-time world champ right here. I don't know if y'all know that. James Quattrochi. Hello, everybody from the Bronx, New York. This guy. You know, he's a life coach. He's not just a boxing coach. He's a life coach. He makes you feel like a lion. I could be tired. I could work a 20-hour day. I go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym. I go to the gym and I leave there. I feel like Superman. But mentally, he tells you to push through it. Don't quit. Work harder. Work through it. Be smart. And I take that in my life. I take that with me throughout my days. Thank you.
I love you, man.
I love you.
My bout with drugs and alcohol, I think a lot of people go through it, but it started to get a hold of me. And whatever, psychological issues, physical issues that I have with those substances, once it got in me, I had a hard time stopping. And, I got some success in the movies with a movie called The Warriors. And all of a sudden I had a bunch of money in my pocket. And Ricky is a guy that helps me with that. Ricky and I have similar paths that way. I can't speak for him, but I think it's fair to say that, and he helps me. Having a brotherhood, a fellowship with a guy that's been through some of the stuff I've been through helps me stay clean and sober. So my general message to anybody who's younger than me, that's having financial success or not, and is struggling with drugs and alcohol, don't be afraid. You can quit.
Man, I'll tell you, I got in the best shape of my life working with Ricky. The best shape ever. I'll show you a picture. I'll show you a picture, damn it. What would I say to somebody struggling with drugs and alcohol? Probably sounds a little bit backwards, but I would say I hope things get really bad. Because typically things have to get horrendously bad before people find recovery or surrender to the process. So yeah, when people are new to recovery, the message is, I hope your life sucks. I hope it sucks so bad that you're willing to do whatever it takes to stay clean and sober.